Hey, my name is Nick Vincent. I'm a blacksmith in St. Augustine, Florida. I've been blacksmithing since 1983, which today would be, I don't know, 36 years. So I do general blacksmithing work, a lot of ornamental and functional iron work for around the house. I always say ornamental and functional blacksmithing. So this is my shop. I'm in a little industrial area in St. Augustine, 1,680 square feet with a big, tall 16-foot ceiling, so air dissipates and I don't get too hot during the summer. But I have two propane forges here in the shop. This one that's right here in front of me is a Swan forge from England. I have another homemade forge that was made by a fellow up in New Jersey. This one is my bigger forge, and we can fire it up here. So it's got a gas valve here that opens, and just like that it started. And it does have an electric fan to help increase the temperature.
Fascinates me is the way this catch works over here. When you open it, it stays open. When you flip it around.
Yeah, it's a pretty well engineered forge. Oh, just had that piece pop out there. That's not warmed up yet. So, and there's a little bolt adjustment on the bottom so you can open and close that door some. But I work with it closed most of the time, trying to keep most of the heat inside. I have some fire pricks in the back, trying to contain the heat. And I have a long piece here that we could heat up, maybe make a little leaf on the end of. I work with gloves most of the time, and these gloves are Kevlar with little blue dots on them. Jokingly, I always say if I smell the little rubber dots burning, then I know I am next. I have a Pettinghouse anvil that I bought new 15 years ago. And so I figured if I'm going to be a professional, I should have a professional workspace, and this is my work table. I use a Uri Hoffy patterned hammer. This one was made by Tom Clark from the Ozark Mountains. This one was made in 2003. I had suffered with tendonitis for over 10 years, and just the way this hammer is designed and the way you hold it and swing it just takes all that stress off of that tendon in my elbow. So I was cured of my tendonitis in about 2 weeks after using this hammer. So what we're going to do is form a leaf on the end of this bar, and it's going to take a second to heat up. I have a Kuhn power hammer that I bought new from Centaur Forge in 1996. This one is 40 kilos, which is 88 pounds. That's the ram weight here. And it's a self-contained air hammer in that there's a 5 horsepower motor over here that drives an air piston up in the top of head here and drives this ram up and down. So we can turn that on. Start to get a little noisy for us. So, and that is controlled by a foot pedal here in the front. I have a pair of combination dies on here right now, which are both fullering dies. This side is full width fullering. This side is like half width fullering, so it gives a little sharper bite than what the other side does. So, to start this hook, or this leaf on this bar, I'm going to draw the end out to a point and then neck in where the leaf meets the stem. refine the stem. So after the first heat, I have a blank for a leaf. This will be the end of the leaf out here. This is my stem area here. We'll take another heat and then start to spread that leaf wider. I'm going to get my next tooling that I need ready. I have a kind of a small fuller here, and this is where we'll lay in the veins, the simulated veins for the leaf. First part of the leaf I'm going to draw out, I'm going to fuller out using the dies on the power hammer. Turning this back on. So that gives me my leaf shape, except it's a flat leaf. So the next step will be to lay in some fuller lines here to make it look like it's got some veins in it. And then we're going to shape it using a bottom swedge. And this will give us some movement on the leaf. So the fuller that I'm going to use is probably 1/2 inch radius. So the center vein and then some side veins. So that gives us some veins in the leaf. My next step will be to give this leaf a little movement. So at a low heat, in a bottom swage, maybe a little too much movement. So it just gives us a little movement that way and this way. Now I'm going to heat up a section behind the leaf and do a little curl there and a little loop, give that whole section some movement. I'm going to use 2 different kinds of scrolling tongs. These are straight tongs here, but the jaws are rounded so I don't leave any marks on my workpiece. And this pair has bent tines so that I can actually get a little more force on it. So when this gets hot, I'll clamp it in the vise. When I'm working, I'm constantly getting ready for the next operation. So the first thing I'm going to do is a sharp curl right here, right behind the leaf. I'm going to heat that up one more time. So this fire will get up to welding temperature, which will probably be in about 2,800 degrees. We aren't going to get that hot right here doing this little work. So I'm just trying to get a kind of a smooth curve out of this, something that's pleasing to the eye. I want to heat that up and just shape that over the horn a little bit. Kind of gives us a rounded. I'm going to knock that in a little bit, make it a little less rounded. So that's my shape. What this is going to be is a toilet paper holder, or the upper part of a toilet paper holder. My next step will be to punch two divots in that bar for where the screw holes are going to go to mount it to the wall. So this is where I'll drill the screw holes. Left it swinging. Okay, so the rest of this operation can be done at the anvil. Oh, okay, so this is probably still about 1,100 degrees right there. And so now the piece is completely cool, and you can see by having water on it, it's below 212 degrees because it's not steaming off. Okay, Let me drill screw holes in this while we're thinking about it. So these are 3/16 inch holes. All right, so at this point, so I'm making a toilet paper holder that'll hang on the wall. So from here, I want to come out to the east. So this will come down the wall, turn, come out, come back this way, and have a little spiral on the end so that it won't, so that the toilet paper won't run off the end. So I'm going to do a 90-degree bend right here on the end. And you might ask, how are you going to do that? Well, you could do it under the forge, but the forge is a lot of heat that's not very controlled. So I have a torch right here that I can do localized heating on. So this is oxyacetylene, so oxygen and acetylene. This gizmo is a gas saver. So it just has a little pilot flame that runs when I want to use the torch. I hold the torch in front of the flame, right about there. Okay, so now I can take that and spot heat this little area that I want to bend. This is going to be a 90-degree bend coming towards me. So I'm just, this parent material that we're using is 3/8 round. So just take a second, heat that up, and then 90 degrees right to there. And I swear one day I'm going to make a jig for this. Now I'm going to want to do a couple of measurements. So a roll of toilet paper is about 4 inches wide. So I want that to hang in the center of this bar. So I'm going to come out here 2 inches and make a bend up 90 degrees after 2 inches. Then I'm going to take this, and this will bend out. So this is going to bend me away from the wall. This is going to bend me back parallel with the wall. So the toilet paper will actually mount out here. So this will be the side of the roll of the toilet paper. So I allow about 3.5 inches. That'll cover even the thickest toilet papers. Another 90-degree bend, but this one's going to come straight towards me. That way. And this one's going to come parallel to the floor, parallel to the back of the toilet paper holder. So this way. So now I'll come out here about 4 inches or so. Let me run into the bathroom here and measure a roll of toilet paper. So a roll of toilet paper is actually, is actually about 4 1/4. So my next bend, I'm gonna leave a little extra room, so I'm gonna do 4 1/2. And now all this is going to do is roll around and prevent that toilet paper from falling off onto the floor. So this is like that little roller that you have to change all the time. So let's see, what's going to give us the best? So we'll go this way. So I'm going to go down about 90 degrees. And then it'll be like a little pig's tail. Just heating a little bit of the bar at a time because I'm only trying to make a kind of a short little curve. And bring it around to there. Now, last 2 steps for this will be to cut off a part of this tail that we don't need. So I'm going to cut it right here. I think that should be enough. To finish this, I'm going to go to the belt sander and deburr the end of that where we just... So that's my little toilet paper holder. Now let me show you how it works. So that little curl...
Give us a smile, will you? That's better.
So the little curl, gravity keeps it from coming off the end.